All right, I want you to picture a scenario. It's 11:00 p.m. on a Tuesday.
A Tuesday, not a Friday. That's key.
No, not a fun late night. A Tuesday. And you're sitting in your home office. Let's just, to make it real, let's say you're in Grand Ledge, Michigan. But honestly, this could be anywhere.
It's dark outside. The house is silent.
Yeah, that specific kind of quiet where all you can hear is like the refrigerator humming downstairs.
That's the one.
Your partner, they went to sleep maybe 2 hours ago.
Yeah.
And, maybe there was a little bit of tension there because you said you'd be up in a minute. And, well, that was at 9 p.m.
And the kids are asleep. It's just you.
It's just you, bathed in that blue glow from your laptop screen, and your eyes are burning.
It's a really lonely place, isn't it? It's kind of the entrepreneur's witching hour.
It is. And on that screen, there's a spreadsheet. And this spreadsheet is telling you something that, in theory, should make you want to go pop a bottle of champagne.
What's it say?
It says your business did $2 million in revenue this year. $2 million.
Which is a massive milestone. I mean, purely psychologically. Just crossing that seven-figure mark and then doubling it, that's the dream.
It's totally the dream. Remember when you started? Remember when $500,000 felt like the absolute finish line?
Oh, yeah. You probably thought, man, if I can just hit 2 million, I've made it. I'll be on a beach somewhere. I'll be coaching Little League.
But the feeling in the pit of your stomach at 11:00 p.m. on this Tuesday, it isn't I've made it.
No, not all.
It's closer to nausea because even though that one little cell on the spreadsheet says 2 million, you actually feel, well, you feel less financially secure than you did when your business was half that size.
You're working 70-hour weeks.
Missing dinner.
And here's the real kicker. Your personal bank account, the one that, pays the mortgage and buys the groceries, it does not look like the account of someone who runs a multi-million-dollar company.
And that's when it hits you. Somewhere between 11 p.m. and midnight, you realize you aren't really a business owner anymore. You've become the single most expensive, overworked employee in your own company. You are the bottleneck. You're the firefighter. You're the bank. All rolled into one.
That is a terrifying realization.
It is. And I think a lot of people listening to this right now are nodding their heads, probably pretty painfully. This is what we call the paper success paradox.
On paper, you're a titan of industry. Your P&L looks amazing.
But your lifestyle feels like poverty, or at least relative poverty, compared to the sheer amount of blood, sweat, and frankly, tears you're pouring into this thing.
It's the revenue trap. And it happens because, as a culture, we are completely obsessed with the top line.
Oh, totally. You go to a networking event, what's the first question they ask?
Ask your business, and you answer with revenue. Oh, we're a $2 million shop.
You never say, we made $50,000 in profit.
Right, because that just doesn't sound as cool. But that's exactly what we're going to unpack in this deep dive. We're looking at a whole stack of insights that they completely flip the script on how we should measure success in a business.
We're talking about a paradigm shift, moving from thinking about revenue to something called return on people.
And this is so crucial because so often when we feel that disconnect, that revenue is up but I'm broke, feeling our instinct is to blame all the wrong things.
Right. You think, I just need more sales, I need more leads, I need to grind harder.
More.
If I can just get to 3 million, then the profit will show up.
Right. But what if you're not actually suffering from a revenue problem? What if you are solving for the wrong variable entirely?
I love this analogy. If you have a bucket with a giant hole in the bottom, pouring more water in doesn't fix the hole.
It just makes your water bill go up.
Yeah. There's this medical analogy in the research that just clicked for me. Imagine a doctor measuring their success just by how many patients walk through the front door.
Okay, let's play that out. So high traffic, the waiting room is packed, phones are just ringing off the hook.
Exactly, and the doctor's in the back saying, I saw 100 people today, I am crushing it.
But they're not tracking a crucial piece of data.
Not at all. They're not tracking how many of those patients actually got better. They're not tracking outcomes. They're just measuring activity, not health.
And in business, revenue is just activity. That's all it is. It's a metric of how much money passed through your hands on its way to someone else.
To your vendors, to your staff, to the IRS.
It tells you how busy you are. It doesn't tell you if the business actually works.
So our mission today is to really shift that focus away from the vanity metric revenue and onto the vital sign, return on people.
Yeah.
And I want to get a little technical for a second because return on people sounds a bit, I don't know, a bit like HR jargon, like corporate culture or synergy.
Right. It sounds soft. but it's not.
It's a hard number, isn't it?
It is arguably the single most important number that should be on your dashboard, and I guarantee 95% of people listening are not tracking it.
So what is it?
It's profit per employee, and the formula is deceptively simple. It's just your net income divided by your full-time equivalent employees, your FTEs.
Okay, let's slow down and unpack that. Net income. So bottom line profit.
Right. What's left at the end of the day?
Divided by your full-time employees. Why that specific ratio? Why not just look at net income by itself?
Because net income alone doesn't tell you anything about efficiency. I mean, you could have $1 million in net income, but if you have 500 employees to get it,
you're actually running a terrible business.
You're running a sweatshop with razor-thin margins. But what if you have $1 million in net income with 5 employees?
Now you're running a gold mine.
See? That's the difference.
Okay, I get that. But wait. I hear people talk about revenue per employee all the time. You hear it at conferences. Oh, we do $200 case per head. Why isn't that good enough?
Oh, that's the trap. That's the activity metric again. Revenue per employee only measures how busy your team is. It measures volume.
So what's wrong with that?
You can have an incredibly high revenue per employee and still go bankrupt.
How is that possible?
Look, if I decide to sell dollar bills for 90 cents, I can sell 1 billion of them. My revenue per employee will be through the roof. My team will be frantically busy shipping out all those dollar bills.
And you'll look like a genius.
For about a month. But I'm losing 10 cents on every single transaction. I'm growing my way right into an early grave.
Right. Okay, that makes perfect sense. So profit per employee, this return on people, it's like the truth serum.
It is. It strips away all the noise and asks one simple question. For every human being we have added to this organization, how much actual bottom line value are they generating?
It's the difference between, say, a cheerleader consultant and a clinical one.
Exactly. A lot of business coaches out there, they're cheerleaders. They come in, they check your pulse, and they say, hey, you're alive. Great. Let's go run a marathon. Let's 10x your leads.
Just manifest abundance, hustle harder.
All of that. But a clinical advisor, which is the approach we're talking about, checks the vital signs first.
Is the blood pressure stable? Is there internal bleeding?
Is the patient actually healthy enough to run, or is running going to kill them? Because if you have a profit leak and you just pour more revenue on top of it, all you're doing is accelerating the bleed out.
And there's data to back this up, right? This isn't just one person's theory.
Oh, it's very well documented. The U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics has data that shows that service businesses that optimize for this specific profit per employee metric, they consistently outperform their competitors.
There's a difference between just surviving,
treading water, maybe drowning slowly, and actually thriving.
Okay, so if you're listening to this and you feel like you are on that treadmill running faster and faster but not getting anywhere, this number, this is your diagnostic tool.
Absolutely.
But I want to make this real, because numbers on a page are one thing, but the stories behind them, that's where the pain really lives. And the research gave us 3 really distinct pictures of reality.
Yeah, 3 case studies.
And I want to go deep on these because I have strong suspicion that every single person listening is going to see themselves in one of these mirrors.
And they really illustrate how the same symptom, I'm working way too hard for way too little money, can come from 3 totally different diseases.
Let's start with picture 1.
Yeah.
This is the growth trap.
Yeah.
Let's call the owner Sarah.
Okay, Sarah. She runs a service business, maybe a marketing agency, a specialized cleaning firm, something like that.
And she's doing about $1.5 million in revenue. She's got 6 employees.
Right. So on the surface, if you met Sarah at a cocktail party, you'd think she is just crushing it.
Totally. And she probably thinks she should be crushing it. Her revenue is climbing every year. In fact, to handle all that growth, she hired 2 new people in the last 12 months.
Which is the logical next step. You think, okay, I'm drowning in work. Let me hire some help so I can get my life back.
That's the dream. But what actually happened to Sarah?
She came in for an assessment totally exhausted. And the reason was her personal take-home pay had actually dropped since she hired those 2 people.
That is the absolute worst feeling in the world. You hire people to buy back your time, but you end up paying them with your own paycheck, and you still don't get the time back.
So they ran the diagnostic, they calculated her return on people, and the number came back at $18,000.
$18,000 profit per employee per year.
Per year. Now, I want you to really sit with that number for a second. That $18,000 is probably less than the cost of health insurance, payroll taxes, and software licenses for that employee.
So she was literally paying for the privilege of employing people.
She was losing money on every single new hire. She was scaling a broken system.
And when they dug into the why, what did they find?
A few things. First, her pricing was 3 years out of date.
Ouch. And I get why owners do that. You're terrified to raise prices. You think clients will leave in droves.
But in this economy, with the inflation we've seen, 3-year-old pricing is basically giving everyone a 20% discount.
So that's the first leak. What else?
Second, her delivery process was super inefficient. But third, and this is the one that really hurts, Sarah was still doing $40 an hour work herself.
The CEO was moonlighting as an admin assistant.
Pretty much. She was doing the invoicing, answering basic client emails, stuff that could easily be delegated. So every time she added a new person, she wasn't really adding capacity. She was just spreading the inefficiency across more people.
Growth was making her poorer because the machine itself was flawed. That's the growth trap.
That's it. Scaling a negative margin.
Okay, let's swing the pendulum to the complete opposite side. Picture 2, the solo bottleneck. Let's call this owner Mark.
Mark. He runs a boutique consulting firm or maybe a high-end trade business. He's doing about $800,000 in revenue, so a smaller operation.
And it's just him.
It's just Mark and 3 part-time helpers.
Okay, so what's Mark's state of mind?
Terror. Absolute terror about hiring. He's got this story playing on a loop in his head. I tried hiring before. It was a disaster. Nobody does it like I do. Nobody cares like I do.
The hero syndrome. I hear that constantly. If you want it done right, you just have to do it yourself.
You got it. So when they ran the numbers on Mark's business, his profit per employee looked amazing. It was $65,000.
Wait, hold on a minute. We haven't even gotten to the benchmarks yet, but $65,000 sounds fantastic. Why is that a problem? If I'm Mark, I'm thinking, see, I'm winning.
It sounds great, but it was a false positive.
How can profit be a false positive? Money is money.
Because the team wasn't actually generating the value. Mark was. Mark was working 80 hours a week. He was the one closing all the deals, doing all the high-level work, and sending the invoice.
I see. So the staff were just, what were they doing?
They were just keeping the engine oiled. They were basically personal assistants, not fee earners.
So the math only looks good because Mark isn't paying himself a replacement salary for the 5 different jobs he's doing.
That's it exactly. The business wasn't profitable because of its structure or its systems. It was profitable because of Mark's martyrdom. And, heroism is not a scalable business strategy.
Heroism is not a strategy. Okay, get that printed on a t-shirt. Because what happens if Mark breaks his leg? Or what happens when he just burns out?
The revenue goes to zero. Instantly. And that's not a business, my friend. That is a high-paying, high-stress job with a terrible boss, yourself.
Mark is the ceiling. The business can literally never grow beyond the number of hours he is willing to stay awake.
That's the trap.
Okay, so we've got the growth trap with Sarah and the solo bottleneck with Mark. Now for the third one, which I think is maybe the most insidious because it looks the most like success from the outside, picture 3, the leaky bucket.
This is a larger firm, let's say a restoration company or a law firm. $3 million in revenue, 12 employees.
So on paper, this looks like a local empire. They've got the nice trucks, the branded polo shirts, the office on Main Street.
Yep, this is the big dog in town.
But the diagnostic came back at $32,000 profit per employee.
Which it's mediocre, it's survivable.
But it's not great.
No. For a firm that size, with that much leverage, it should be at least double that. They were just leaving huge amounts of money on the table.
So they started digging for leaks. What did they find?
This is where it gets really shocking. They found some very specific leaks, starting with something called vendor bloat.
Oh, this is my favorite part of the whole story. They found $75,000 a year in pure waste. 75 grand.
That's a luxury car. That's a down payment on a house. That's a whole salary for somebody.
So where was it all hiding?
It wasn't one big thing. It wasn't like they bought a golden toilet for the office. It was death by 1,000 cuts. They printed out the credit card statements and found 7 different software subscriptions that all had overlapping features.
Let me guess. They had Asana for the marketing team, Trello for the ops team, and Monday.com for the executives.
You're not far off. And they were paying for premium seats on all of them. And why? Because nobody wanted to have the hard conversation about just picking one and migrating the data.
So they were paying for laziness.
Basically. Then they found they were paying for 2 different insurance policies that covered the exact same risks.
So come on.
And the marketing agency. We have to talk about the agency.
Yes. They were paying a digital marketing agency $4 grand a month.
Which, is a pretty standard retainer.
But when they audited the results?
Zero measurable return, no attribution at all. The agency was just sending them these fancy PDF reports with vanity metrics like impressions and reach, but not a single dollar of actual revenue could be traced back to that spend.
They were lighting $48,000 a year on fire just to feel like they were doing marketing.
And that was just the vendor bloat.
Oh, sure.
They also found, no surprise, they were underpricing. Their costs, labor, overhead, gas, wages, had gone up 30% over 4 years. But their prices.
Had remained flat, so they were personally subsidizing their own customers.
And the third major leak was just raw inefficiency. No documentation, no standard operating procedures, no SOPs.
So every project was an adventure.
Every project, they were reinventing the wheel. Hey, how do we do this again? I don't know, go ask Bob. It was taking twice as long as it should have.
So what happened when they actually started fixing this stuff? I mean, this seems like a massive ship to try and turn around.
It was actually surprisingly fast. They focused on the foundation first. They implemented just 3 SOPs, 3 simple checklists on how to do their core work.
And what did that do?
That alone dropped the project completion time by 35%.
35% time savings just by writing down how to do the job. That's insane.
Then they did the scary thing. They raised prices by 15%. And I know every single listener just winced when I said that. If I raise prices, everyone's going to leave.
So what happened? Did they have a client revolt?
0 complaints, not a single one. And that one move added $180,000 to the bottom line instantly.
That is pure profit. It doesn't cost you a single penny to change the price tag on your proposal.
Pure profit. So within 6 months, and here's the kicker, without finding a single new lead, their profit per employee jumped from a mediocre $32,000 to $71,000.
They more than doubled their efficiency and their profit just by fixing the bucket instead of pouring in more water.
That is the power of the return on people metric. It forces you to look at the health of the system, not just the volume of the output.
It changes the entire question from how do we get bigger to how do we get better.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've seen the stories. We have Sarah, Mark, the big firm. Now I want to give the listener a map, because if I'm listening, I'm frantically pulling up my calculator app, trying to figure out my net income divided by my number of employees. Once I have that number, what does it actually mean?
This is the framework. This is how you know where you stand, and more importantly, what you should be doing next. It's broken down into the 3 stages.
Okay, let's start at the bottom. Stage 1.
Stage 1 is crisis. This is for anyone with less than $25,000 in profit per employee.
Crisis is a really strong word. If I'm making 20 grand per person, I might feel like I'm doing okay. Why is it a crisis?
It's accurate because you are in survival mode. You might not feel it every single day because cash flow can mask profitability problems for a little while. But you are 1 bad month away from going under.
One big client leaves.
You're done. 1 unexpected tax bill. You're done. You have absolutely no buffer.
What are the common symptoms here?
Outdated pricing is almost always the #1 culprit. You just aren't covering your real costs. You've got vendor expenses creeping up. And very often you have a revenue mix where you're actually losing money on certain services and you don't even realize it.
So if you find yourself in stage 1, what's the prescription? Do you just go out and try to sell your way out of it?
Absolutely not. And this is where most people get it completely wrong. They panic and they try to sell more. That is the worst possible thing you can do.
Why?
You have to stop adding water to the bucket. Do not look for more customers. You need to fix the foundation immediately. Cut the waste. Raise your prices. You're in the emergency room. You have to stop the bleeding first.
Okay, that's very clear. Now let's move up to stage 2. This is between $25,000 and $60,000 profit per employee.
This is the vulnerable stage, or as I like to call it, the good enough trap.
I want to spend some real time here because my gut tells me this is where 60, maybe 70% of businesses live.
You're absolutely right. And this is the danger zone precisely because it doesn't feel dangerous. You're paying the bills, the checks aren't bouncing, the business is definitely alive.
But there's no margin for error.
None. It's the whole boiling frog scenario.
Yeah.
The water is warm, it's comfortable enough, so you don't feel the need to jump out.
In the crisis stage, the water is scalding, so you move.
Right. But in the vulnerable stage, you can stay stuck for 10 years. You just tread water, telling yourself next year will be better, or once we get past this busy season, things will finally calm down.
But it never calms down.
It never calms down.
What's the psychology of the owner who's stuck in this vulnerable stage?
It's a mix of denial and pure exhaustion. They're likely still grinding, working way too many hours. They're probably still the main salesperson or the main quality control officer.
They're the person who can't go on vacation for 2 weeks without checking their email every hour.
Oh, that's it. I'm on vacation, but let me just hop on this one call real quick.
Thank-
The business relies on them far too much. And financially, while they aren't bleeding out, they aren't really building wealth. They're just maintaining a job.
And if a recession hits...
They slide right back down into crisis instantly.
So what's the move here? How do you break out of the gravitational pull of vulnerable?
The word is optimization. This is where you have to get absolutely ruthless about efficiency. You start bundling services instead of just billing by the hour. You apply the 80-20 rule to your clients.
The Pareto principle.
Yes. You have to look at your client list and be honest that 20% of them are causing 80% of your headaches, and they're probably generating very little actual profit.
And what do you do with them?
You have to fire them.
Fire clients? That's a terrifying thought for someone in the vulnerable stage.
It's terrifying, but it's completely necessary. You free up that energy to replace them with better clients. You build simple systems to finally detach yourself, the owner, from every single detail. You have to move from being the hero to being the owner.
And that leads us to the promised land. Stage 3, thriving.
This is where you want to be. This is over $60,000 in profit per employee.
So describe life in stage 3. What does that feel like?
It's freedom. At this level, the business serves your life rather than your life consuming the business.
You have premium pricing.
Because you deliver premium value. You have documented systems, so quality doesn't depend on you, the hero, being in the room.
And the owner's role.
The owner is doing high-level strategy, or maybe they're on a boat. They are ruthless about saying no to low-margin work. They don't chase every ambulance that goes by. They pick their shots.
And this is where you can finally invest in growth safely.
Yeah. Yes. This is the great paradox. Once you are here, growth is safe. You can pour money into marketing because, you know, for a fact, that every dollar of revenue you bring in carries a healthy margin of profit with it.
You're not gambling anymore.
No. You have a machine that prints money, so yeah, go ahead and turn the dial up.
I love that framework. Crisis, vulnerable, thriving. It gives you such a clear target. But, you know, getting from vulnerable to thriving, that's the hard part. The theory is great. But what do we actually do tomorrow morning?
And that brings us to the 5 pillars of profitability. This is the practical application. This is the how-to.
Okay, let's walk through these. And I want to push back on some of them because they sound a lot easier said than done. Pillar 1, cash flow.
Specifically, forecasting versus hope.
We've said it before, hope is not a strategy.
But doesn't everyone forecast? I mean, everyone looks at their bank account.
Looking at your bank balance is not forecasting. That's history. That's telling you what happened. Most businesses run on what's called bank balance accounting. I $10,000 in the bank, I feel rich, let's go buy a new MacBook.
But they completely forget that payroll is $12,000 on Friday.
The payroll panic. Waking up at 2 a.m. in a cold sweat because the math doesn't work?
That's it. True cash flow forecasting is about looking 30, 60, 90 days out. It's about knowing a crunch is coming in 6 weeks so you can fix it now rather than panicking when it hits you in the face.
So it's like time travel. It's solving problems before they're actually problems.
It's seeing the iceberg while you still have plenty of time to turn the ship.
Okay. Pillar 2, cost control. The material calls this the audit.
This goes right back to our vendor bloat discussion. It's the big distinction between watching expenses and actually auditing them.
What's the difference?
Watching expenses is passive. It's looking at a bill and thinking, that looks a little high this month.
And then doing nothing about it.
Exactly. Auditing is aggressive. It is printing out the P&L and the credit card statement and going line by line with a red pen asking, what is this? Do we actually need it? Can we get it cheaper?
You have to be willing to be kind of a jerk about it.
You have to be a steward of the business's resources. I mean, when was the last time you actually got competitive quotes for your business insurance? When did you last renegotiate your software contracts? The source mentions that this one pillar alone can save a business $15,000 to $30,000 in the first month.
Just by making a few phone calls and canceling some junk you're not even using.
It is literally money sitting in your couch cushions, but the couch cushions are your vendor contracts.
Okay, pillar 3, complexity reduction. Now, I'm going to play devil's advocate here. Don't clients want complexity? Don't they want custom solutions? They want to feel special. If I simplify, aren't I just becoming a commodity?
That is the fear. But let me ask you this. Does a client want a custom solution that's late, over budget, and prone to errors? Or do they want a standardized solution that works perfectly every single time?
Point taken.
Complexity is the silent killer of profit. Every single time you make a special exception for a client or you offer a custom variation of your service, you're adding friction to the system. You break your training process. You make quality inconsistent. You slow down your billing.
Oh, just this one time, we'll do it a little differently for you.
And then your whole staff is confused. Wait, I thought we did it X way. No, for this client, we do it Y way. It creates chaos. Thriving businesses simplify. They sell what they are great at, and they sell it the same way every time.
It's like a fine dining restaurant. They have a menu.
Right. If you go to a high-end sushi place and ask for a cheeseburger, they don't say, sure, we'll figure it out for you. They say no.
Because figuring it out would destroy the entire kitchen's flow.
Exactly. Standardized equals scalable. Custom equals chaos.
Right. Pillar 4, client retention.
The math here is just undeniable, and yet everybody ignores it. It costs 5 to 7 times more to acquire a new client than it does to keep an existing one. But where does all the marketing budget go?
To lead gen Facebook ads.
Sales guys. New blood. We're obsessed with the hunt. But there's a stat that if you improve your client retention by just 5%, you can increase your profits by anywhere from 25% to 95%.
That statistic blows my mind every single time I hear it. A tiny 5% retention bump can almost double your profit.
Think about it. When you keep a client, you have zero acquisition costs. You've already done the onboarding. You already know what they need. It's pure margin. But most businesses, they treat their current clients like an afterthought.
Oh, they're fine. They'll stick around. Let's go find some new ones.
It's like dating. You stop courting your spouse because you're too busy trying to, well, let's not use that analogy. But you get the point. You neglect the relationship you already have.
Yeah, I get it. Okay, and finally, pillar 5, contribution margin. This one sounds like accountant speak. Decode this for us mere mortals.
It's just fancy language for a very simple question. After I pay for the direct labor and the direct materials to do this one specific job, what's left over?
Leftovers.
The leftovers. Let's take a construction job. You charge the client $10,000. Your materials are $3,000. Your labor is $3,000. Your contribution margin is $4,000.
Okay, easy math.
But here's where the danger comes in. Cross-subsidization. This is robbing Peter to pay Paul. You have service A that makes a huge margin, say 60%, and you have service B that actually loses you money, a negative 10% margin.
But because you bundle them together or you just look at the total revenue at the end of the month,
it all just washes out. You think you're doing okay.
But really, service A is paying for service B's existence. Service B is a parasite on your business.
And knowing your contribution margin for each service stops that. It lets you kill the zombies, the services that are eating your profit, and double down on the winners.
And the beauty of these 5 pillars is the compound effect. You don't have to fix all 5 of them perfectly tomorrow morning.
Not at all. The research shows if you just fix 3 of these, say you cut some costs, pillar 2, you simplify your offering, pillar 3, and you bump up your retention just a little bit, pillar 4, you can boost your profit per employee by 30 to 50%.
Without running a single new Facebook ad.
That's the headline right there. Boost profit by 50% without a single new marketing campaign. That is what we mean by solving for the right variable.
It's structural. It's not about hustle. It's about physics.
Exactly.
So we've got the metric, we've got the stages, and we've got the pillars. But I want to pivot to something the material really hits hard on, the consultant paradigm. Because a lot of people listening right now, they hear audit and systems and forecasting, and they think, I can't do that myself, but I also can't afford a high-priced consultant. Consultants are an expense.
And that is the cost fallacy, and it is what keeps people poor.
Break down the difference between an expense and an investment in this context.
An expense is a plumber. You pay them, they fix the leak in your toilet, the money is gone. It was a necessary cost, but it doesn't make you more money. It just maintains the status quo.
Right. The toilet flushes now. Great.
A true profit advisor, someone who does what we've been discussing, is building infrastructure. If you pay a consultant $10,000 and they find that $30,000 in recurring vendor waste we talked about earlier.
You didn't spend $10,000. You made $20,000.
You made $20,000 this year, and you're going to make another $30,000 next year and the year after that. It is self-funding infrastructure.
So the ROI is usually realized in the first, 30 to 90 days?
Almost always. A good advisor pays for themselves almost immediately. Everything after that is pure return.
But you have to be careful what kind of help you get. The research makes a big distinction here. You do not need another cheerleader.
No. You don't need a brainstorming session with a whiteboard full of possibilities. You don't need someone to tell you to think bigger.
You're already working 70 hours a week. You don't lack ambition.
Yeah. You lack sleep. And margin. And systems. You need a technician, someone who can come in, look at the vital signs, find the leak, and then actually plug it. You need clinical precision, not just motivation.
Self-funding infrastructure. I love that phrase. It really reframes the whole math problem in your head. It moves you from a defensive posture, I can't afford help, to an offensive one, I can't afford to keep leaking this money.
That's exactly right.
Okay, we're coming to the end of our deep dive here, and I really want to leave the listeners with the challenge that the source material poses. It's not a warm and fuzzy outro. It's deliberately provocative.
It is. It basically says, if you're comfortable where you are, you can just stop listening now.
Right. If you're okay with the 70-hour weeks, if you're okay with being the most expensive employee in your own company, if you're okay with the whole paper success paradox, then this isn't for you. Go back to what you were doing.
But if you are at a breaking point, if you cannot go another day working this hard for this little return, if you are just sick and tired of your bank account not matching your revenue, then it's time for a real conversation.
And that conversation is this pathway to profit assessment.
And let's be super clear. Based on the description, this isn't a sales call. It's not a free consultation where somebody just pitches you for 45 minutes.
No, it's a diagnostic.
It's a 45-minute deep dive where they actually calculate your numbers with you on the call.
They calculate your specific profit per employee. They help you identify your specific leaks. They map out a 90-day plan.
And the tone is described as, well, challenging.
Yeah, this isn't someone who's just going to nod and smile and tell you you're doing a good job.
No. If you say, well, I can't raise my prices, he's going to ask you, why do you undervalue yourself? If you say, I just can't find the time to build systems, he's going to ask, how will you ever find time if you don't?
It's the tough love that actually solves the real problem. It's someone standing for the business owner you could be, instead of just accepting the exhausted owner you are today.
Precisely.
And the target audience for this is pretty specific. Service owners, right? $250K to about $5 million. It mentions the Michigan and Grand Ledge area specifically, but obviously these principles apply everywhere.
Yeah, trades, healthcare, legal services, restoration companies. If you're in that service sector, grinding out revenue but leaking profit, this is your wake-up call.
I want to end with this one quote from the research. It was from Ryan's father. It really stuck with me. Just because you can doesn't mean you should.
And that applies to everything we've talked about. Just because you can work 70 hours a week doesn't mean you should. Just because you can do every single task in your business yourself doesn't mean you should.
A business should serve your life, not consume it.
Stop working harder. Start keeping more.
That's the mission. So listener, tonight when it's 11:00 p.m. and the house is quiet, don't just stare at the revenue column. Take 5 minutes. Calculate your return on people. See which picture is yours. Are you Sarah? Are you Mark? Or are you the big leaky bucket? And if you don't like what you see, reach out and finally fix the foundation.
The solution is structural, and it's waiting for you.
Thanks for diving deep with us today. We'll see you on the next one.
Take care.